Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are back in this CFT. I am about to just take this off. In my last video I was discussing and asking questions and asking for help to see if other people were having some issues with their CFTs when they first set it up, and lo and behold, I think I found the issue. So most people, when they set up a CFT, they use a thicker cardboard. I use just a really thin 3-ply, like super thin 3-ply, and the fact that I got it over wet and the fact that I've got African night crawlers, they've been chewing and chomping away at the cardboard, so there's just like mounds and holes. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, you know, there's 3 proper holes, like they're going all the way through. So I don't have any choice but to reset this CFT, which is a bit of a pain, but it's okay. Shit happens, as they say. We are going to try and move some stuff over here, put down thicker cardboard, and then move everything over, put thicker cardboard down. I'm going to have to put a bigger bin down below to catch anything that drops down. Luckily I've got tubs underneath that's been catching stuff, and there's a plastic sheet as well. But it's, you know, every day I get in here there's just more and more crumbs, and then there's worms that drop down. So it's a little bit annoying, but at the end of the day, what can you do? Before we get into that, I want to show you something. I've been getting some, not only have I been getting some spent mushroom substrate, I've also been getting the bags of substrate that were contaminated, and they obviously don't grow them. They pull them out of the grow rooms after the incubation period, and I've been using that as my bedding, as you can tell from these bits of straw. But there's some really cool things happening in this bin. I'm just going to pull this. You can see those little things. Those are little pink oyster mushrooms that are just little pink oyster mushroom pins. There's some here. There's some just coming through on this little bit of substrate here. And here, believe it or not, hold on. Look at that. That is super cute. I'm sorry, but that stuff really excites me. When I love, you know, I love things like that. Even when I was getting sprouts from the pumpkin, and sometimes from the flaxseed you get some sprouts, that really excites me, you know, really motivates me. I like the fact that there's so much diversity and there's things happening in this bin, so, or in any system really. Okay, so no more talking. I am going to try, and I'll leave this to the side because I want to put this back on top, as well as the other 2 little pieces. I want to see if they grow, and then we can put them back when we reset this bin. So I have one of these big tubs. This is what's going to be going underneath on one side now, while I do try to catch anything that drops through while I reset this, and hopefully we'll get some decent, hopefully I won't get too much coming down, because yeah, you know, the less that comes down, the easier it's going to be. But I've got a feeling that as I start moving more and more stuff across, it's just going to collapse. So hopefully this is going to be not as bad as I think it's going to be. Oops. Maybe try not to push it down, or put it on top of the areas that have the holes in it. But every scoop is just full of worms. Just going to do it nice and gently. Oops. It's fine. Maybe do I put it into buckets? I don't know. I do have to admit, there is some compaction. As I'm going down, there is compaction going on, and you can see the color of the castings. It's actually dark. It's just that the pressure is too much and the cardboard is non-existent. So it hasn't had time to compact enough all the way through for it to stop coming down. So from what in my last video, I asked a whole bunch of, I asked the viewers, you guys basically, what your thoughts were, and a couple of people had said basically they had the same issue where they hadn't put down in thick enough cardboard and it just basically went crazy, and when they redid it, they put down thicker cardboard and didn't moisten it as much, and it was better. So we're gonna try that method. And this is, you know, I'm new to this whole CFT thing. You see my worms. My worms are really good. They're really healthy. But yeah, this CFT kind of just kicked my ass a little bit. I think what I should have done is maybe put down a piece of cardboard here and to stop it from going down. Hold on, I have an idea. I'm just going to dump everything onto this paper. I'm not sure if you guys can see over here, but as I'm hopefully you can see the bars, the PVC bars on this side. Just basically that cardboard is gone. It's only been 2 weeks. But look at that. Those worms there. Just tons of them. Hold on, I'm actually gonna get, I think I'm just gonna get a toolbox to stand on. Okay, we have a better angle now to be able to do some work. I can see from some of this bedding, the brown, like the browner, lighter coloured stuff, that it just hasn't been eaten yet. So it's, even though there are some nice castings down here, and I did, you know, I did put bins, existing bins that were almost ready to harvest in this. It just wasn't enough. And look, this is that bedding. So this is a bloody nightmare. There's worms in these little cracks and in the edges, which is fine. Cocoons as well. I don't mind. Where's my brush? I don't mind some of the worms here that can drop down, and I can catch them periodically as they come over the next couple of days. That's not an issue. But I'm just going to try and dust off the top of these because there's some worms and I don't want them to starve or get squished or die. Let's see if I can find. Okay. I mean, you can see where this, look at that cardboard. Who was I kidding? Seriously. I mean, I can just go in to be part of the bedding now, that's no problem. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just do these by sections. I think it will just be easier in the long run. Let's see, there's lovely worms in here, just in these little nooks and crannies. I'll try and get these guys out so they don't get stuck. So I've just put down the first bit of cardboard. I've got this little bit up here. Just move that bit there, just again as a little bit of a protection from the sides. There is a small gap. Oh shit, that's my toolbox. I'm breaking because I'm so heavy. There we go. There is a small gap here, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to double it up. I don't care. Delete for it. Just do the straight edge. Cool. And now dump all this straight onto there, and then try and get rid of some of this stuff, and just do it in sections. It's fine. I don't think this newspaper is going to be strong enough for me to slide this across, but let's see. There we go. And then just alley-oop. Kind of like so. There we go. That's good. So and let's see where this here we go. I'm absolutely covered in mites. You can't really see them in the bin, but they're here. I just think because they know that I don't like them, they want to hang out with me even more. Okay, so the other piece of cardboard is just there. I don't mind if these guys go down. It's fine. Oops. See, there are parts of the cardboard that are still, you know, they're holding out. You can see, like here, right? So if I was to lift this up, you can see it's stopping the castings from going down, but it's wet and it's about to fall through. It's halfway, you know, through there. And these gaps are only, they're not even an inch wide. Maybe 3/4 of an inch. Now what I do want is I want to overlap a little bit. I'm getting so many castings on the floor, and I'm guessing there's going to be a whole bunch of worms on the floor as well. So yeah, I want to overlap these edges a little bit, so I don't mind just taking from here. Shit. It's Saturday night, by the way. The time is 9:10. I was in another state today. I had a bit of running around to do. Went to visit some friends. I had some lunch. Smoked some hookah. Had a couple of drinks. And I came home, and literally the first thing that I had to do was this. I can't sleep at night knowing that this is just getting worse and worse and worse. Anyway, neither here nor there, let's just get on with it. Try to push some of this stuff over into the corner. So if there's one takeaway, one piece of advice now I can definitely give to people out there who are thinking to build a CFT. I know there's a couple of guys who've been talking about it, who wanted to know my experience before they set out on it. One being Dirty Joe's Worms. If you haven't seen him, check him out. He's awesome and funny, and he produces a lot of content. He's putting videos out almost daily, which is awesome. Yeah, so yeah, Joe, if you're watching, which I'm sure you are because you always do, I love you, put down thick cardboard and maybe put your bars a little bit closer together. These are 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch thick apart, which is fine, I guess, because other people have had them this wide and it's not been an issue. But yeah, definitely, I think moving forward, if I was to do this again, which I probably would do, in all fairness, bigger, I would probably have them slightly closer together. So, oops. So, what I do want to do is just want to push this up a little bit, because I'm going to take just a little bit from here where it's not straight and just sitting on top of the cardboard and just dump it on here, because I want a really nice, decent overlap between these two pieces. Okay. Right. Okay. Is that okay? That's actually worked out quite well. I am still going to put a little bit here around the edges. Perfect. And then, rather than moving this one across, we're just going to put this onto here, slide it across, hope for the best, and then do the last section. So I have a question. Do you guys prefer the longer format videos that are like 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes long? Or do you prefer the shorter format videos that are like 8 to 10 minutes long? It was interesting because I was watching a video by Pelican Pants. So he's a YouTuber who is in Queensland in Australia, I believe, and even though he's been keeping worms for a while, he just started recording his worms. He's an interesting cat. Yeah, he also is a chili head like me, which is nice. I like that. I love hot, like super hot chilies. And he just started doing his worms, and he was talking about that he likes the long format videos like Joe does. So Joe sometimes does like hour-long videos. V does hour and a half videos sometimes, which she does her lives. Yeah, me not so much, for a couple of reasons. The first is, for some reason, my software doesn't like when I do anything over 30, 40 minutes, like even 20, 25 minutes. It starts to like weird itself out, which is weird, like, which is crazy. It freezes. You can still hear the audio, but just the frames stop. And I think it's just basically a glitch in the app, because I can do it from my phone, even though there is a computer version of it as well, which I've just started to use. And yeah, so generally I can do 20 minutes. And I like those sort of length videos. I like the 10, 15, 20 minute videos myself personally, because I have ADHD, I think, and I kind of lose interest after a few minutes. Not lose interest after a few minutes, but it takes me a little bit of time to get into it. So I don't mind talking for an hour. I can talk for forever, but I just, based on what I've seen from the analytics, a lot of people sort of like start to fall away after a certain amount of time. So I was interested to know, do you like longer format, shorter format? What's the ideal time you'd like to see a video? Because that's of obviously interest. I want to make sure that these videos are not only educational and entertaining, but also, you know, not boring as shit when you're trying to watch. Maybe you don't want to hear my voice for that long, which is fine, you know. no, I won't take it personally. Sometimes people's lives get in the way of stuff and they don't really want to watch a 40-minute video. Maybe you want to watch something that's only 5 minutes or 6 minutes long, which is also fine. So let me know what's ideal for you and then we'll go from there. Right, so this side is a little bit messier, to be honest. Just clear this out. Luckily I've got these tubs down there. But yeah, this cardboard was a bad idea. I got so happy that it fit nicely, and then I thought it would hold out for longer. Where was I wrong? It didn't hold up for shit. Anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get that on the side there. Cool. If you were to see what I'm seeing down below at the moment, it's an absolute shit show. Oh man. Okay. So let's just slice up some carburation. I might just do something a little bit different this time. I might add the edges first. Oops, sorry. I might add the edges first. There we go. Ooh. Put that in there. Get that over there. I think that's cool. Alright, so we're done. That was kind of painful, I have to admit. I mean, it wasn't as bad as you might think, but still, like, at the end of the day, oops, just stabbed myself. At the end of the day, the whole point of setting this system up was for it to make my life easier, and that just didn't happen today. Let's get this paper. Oops, eyes on paper. I can go underneath anyway. That paper just gave out and just ripped. Anyway, it'll get mixed in. They can eat it. Just some extra carbon for them. Some lovely food. There we go. Okay. And obviously I've still got all the stuff on the bottom as well, which is fine. I'm not gonna have too much of an issue there. Oops, sorry. Just get that into a nice little frame. So let's see what's going on down below. I will just start pulling up stuff. There's so much I've missed. So I've got three tubs down there, 2 side by side, and then 1 small one turned at an angle to catch stuff right at the edge, and then obviously the plastic sheet below it. And there's castings everywhere, like on the paper, on the sheets, in the tubs, on the floor. It is an absolute shit show below this CFT at the moment, but doesn't matter. We are going to just bring everything back up, put it down, and go from there. I also want to reset the bait tray that we reset the other day from our existing dump bag. Every time I pour that bedding into this CFT, the first time there were maybe 1,000 worms in there. No, tell a lie. The first time maybe there was a few hundred worms in there. The second time there was way more than that. So today we're going to do the same. Let's see. It's a mixture of the substrate, the mushroom substrate, with cocoa coir and peat, and some coffee grinds. So this is the mini tub that was on the edge. Just dump that straight in. This was that clean tub, just straight in. I mean, there's worms stuck to this. Where's that brush? I have no idea. Over here. And actually, there's a couple of baby worms. I just noticed there's a couple of baby worms in here, which I'll just get out as well. Can you see them in there? Nope. The lighting is not great. Let's try and see if I can get it onto the brush. Just there. There you go. So you're out. Okay, cool. And then the last tub underneath is actually the bedding that I use for said bait tray. So do I leave any worms in there or do I pull them up? Let's see. First things first, let's get the other bait tray. I might just leave the worms in there. They're going to be fine. There's good moisture in there. And then even if I put it into the bait tray again, they'll end up in here eventually. So that's not too much of a drama. Let's get that other bait tray and see what's happening in there. But I am going to, obviously, I'm going to sweep up down below. I'll just show you what we missed. What basically missed the buckets and ended up straight down on the newspaper and on the plastic. Obviously not the stuff that ended up on the floor. That, my friends, is gone. Finished, forget about it. I'm not gonna... I had this room built specifically when we moved into this house, and the landlord built it, and for some reason they built it almost like a maid's quarters, and they poured the concrete slab but didn't do any tiling. Instead, to make their lives easier, because obviously I didn't pay for them to build it as part of the agreement of us taking the villa, I asked them to build this maid's room as more as a storage room, and they put carpet down, which is a fucking nightmare. Like, what am I going to do with carpet in a storeroom, especially with tools and God knows what else? And to be honest, even though I wanted worms, number one, I didn't know I was going to be keeping worms in here. I thought I would be keeping them outside. Number two, I didn't know I was going to have this many worms. Number three, I didn't know how messy running a worm business was. Yes, V from the Garden and Worm Lady had said on her channel, but until you start doing it, you don't know anything. You know, it's not so bad. It's not as bad as I made it out to be, but it is. I mean, it's bad. It's just not tragic. This one actually, this other tub, I'll just show you. Oh, this is the tub that was with the bedding. This was only half full because I've been using it, and it's now full, so it's fine. It will just get used. I don't read newspapers anymore. I love newspapers. I used to love reading the paper on it every day. Now obviously I just read everything online. But my friend works for the government. She works for one of the ministries. Ministry of something, strategy and competitiveness. And I take their newspapers and I shred it up and use it in my compost. And obviously it's being used in here in the compost in the wormery. So this was the additional stuff. Got another worm in here again, in between the grooves as always. Thank you very much. and this newspaper can skedaddle. Now I did look at this the other day. Not so many worms. I don't know why. Where's that thing? Okay, maybe it wasn't sat on top properly. Let's just maybe move our little scoop. What's going on in here? Mushrooms everywhere. Are there any worms in here though? That's the question. Oh, there he is. There's a worm there, but not many. One worm. Lots of mycelium. Lots of little mushrooms. Interesting. No worms. Maybe we're getting them all. We'll see. I'll have a rummage through that bag later. Maybe we'll do a little video to see what's been going on in there, to see if there are many worms, if not, what they're doing. Because I haven't given any moisture to the bag itself, because it has around 10, maybe 15 gallons of castings in there. But this bedding is awesome. Okay, let's just now. Okay. Oops, sorry. Oopsie daisies. Right, so reset. We are going to give these guys a good feed. That is without question. Like a good feed. Real heavy. There you go. And I'm definitely going to give it a little bit down, not much. I don't want it to leak, but I definitely want these guys to. I just want to wet the chow down a little bit, just so it's more accessible to the guys and it breaks down a little bit quicker. So let me just get hold of that. I've got mites all over me. I can't wait to get in and get showered, but I've still got a ton of stuff to do. I need to clean up in here. So I've been doing this video now, I've been doing this video now, forgive me. I've been doing this video now for about just over an hour. And I would say that I've probably got about an hour of tidying up to do. But I have to admit, I'm so glad that I did this, and I'm so glad that I used thicker cardboard. And even though this was a pain in the bum, even though this is a pain, I am certain that this hour of or 2 hours of headache are gonna pay off in the long run, and not just, you know, because coming in here and finding literal tunnels through the top all the way down to the bottom was insane. It's not supposed to be like that. I don't care what anyone says. Like, yeah, okay, you get some drippage here and there, but, and I don't get how there's people out there that I've seen that have just literally put a sheet of craft paper. Bro, what is going on with that? How the hell did you manage to get your craft paper to stay? Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. Anyway, I feel weird because I've got all these mites all over me. What can I do? So that's that. Ah, we can't forget our 3 little pieces of the mushrooms that were growing out of our bin. These 3 little pieces here. Oh, there's another piece right here anyway, from that bedding. Done. Just give them a little moisture. Not too much, just a little mist. Cool. And obviously cover this up as well. Thank you for joining me and keeping me company while I've been doing this. It's honestly, it's been a nightmare, but what to do? It's one of those things that you can't avoid. And I will hopefully have better news for you guys afterwards. Shit. So now we've got this covered. This should be fine even with the AC going on. Guys, thank you as always. I really appreciate it. You know, I've got to say this as my sign off, as it is customary. If you have anything to say, please leave a comment down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I always love it when you guys say stuff in the comments. There are so many of you who always do, and I really love and appreciate you all. Be good, have a great weekend. Actually, probably it's going to be coming out on Monday, but anyway, hope you had a good weekend. Be good, be safe, big love as always, and I'll see you guys back here soon.